frontier is defined as uncharted territory by land or ocean. Those who chart that territory tell a story. The past illustrates the blueprint for the present, how things are and how they've evolved. From land to water, we are challenged to border that new frontier, a frontier the outdoorsman knows like no other. Author Gary Lewis works his way along that edge of where discoveries, failures, and achievements have written the story of the sportsman.
Yes! Yes!
From state to state, continent to continent, the stories told create the foundation of the present, and they lay the framework for the future. Through the muzzle fire and on the stone are stories from the edge.
Water is the most important thing as far as Indians are concerned, 'cause that's life.
The past is written, the present is here, and this is Frontier Unlimited.
The dirt, look away, look away, look away, this land. Gary's got the 45-70. He likes to shoot the piggy. Look away, look away, look away, this land. That'll work. All right, we're driving out to our stand, and this is big ranch on inside of another larger ranch, and we're driving out to a stand. There's 4 stands here, and we're gonna have one of the more open ones, I guess. And there's gonna be a feeder there. The hogs programmed to get the free food when they hear that feeder go off.
In a stand of longleaf pines, the blind overlooked a feeder at the corner of the property. Lewis was hunting with Grayson Padrick of Central Florida Trophy Hunts. Padrick specializes in gator hunting, and this was his second hunt with him.
Thank you.
On the previous hunt, they hunted a 40,000-acre cattle ranch. This time, Padrick showed Lewis his home ranch. To keep hogs patterned, he uses feeders and blinds situated for 40 to 60-yard shots.
As soon as I got up in the stand, 4 pigs came out of the brush right here. We drove right by them. They just hunkered down. Then that feeder went off, and out they came. Well, those pigs, they were right there, 60 yards away. And I think they smelled us. The wind is coming from the east. It's blowing right toward that feeder. I'm hoping the wind will change a little bit like it was trying to earlier, and coming from this way and blow out that way. But I've never been much good at predicting the wind or telling it what to do.
The wind was wrong. 30 minutes ago, a herd of wild boar had emerged from the swamp. A moment later, they disappeared into the saw palmetto and sea grape.
You know what pigs don't like? They don't like turkey stealing their food. That turkey came over, jumped over the canal. It's over there and stealing the pig food right now. The weather has changed quite a bit since we were here yesterday, so it's a lot cooler, but it feels really good to me. And how does that affect the pig behavior?
Well, like anything, you know, weather temperatures dropped a little bit, it's gotten cooler, it's got to make things move a little bit more. You know, we've been running lately, you know, days with the heat index of 104, 107 right now. You know, day like now, today, when it's temperatures dropped, we've got a little breeze. You just couldn't ask for anything better, you know.
Now, everywhere I look, I'm seeing pig tracks and evidence of pig activity. It's just rained here maybe a couple of hours ago, so.
You can see as we were walking up here, you know, they've been rooting. You know, we've got a little bit of rooting over to our left, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of pigs on here. You know, we also do everything we can to make sure that we have a lot of hogs here. You know, we've got feeders running twice a day. We put out a variety of food for them. We try to bring in fruit from various places at the end of their picking cycle when they have a bunch of fruit, that kind of thing. You know, from watermelons, citrus, all that kind of stuff.
What I've noticed is that the Florida hogs taste as good or better than hogs I've eaten in other places. And why do you suppose that is?
Well, I have probably two answers for you. The first is because I think most of the Florida hogs you've had have come through us, and you probably got one of the best processors in the state doing it, so that always helps.
Well, I loved getting those boxes of the prepared meat already. I didn't have to fly that home. I loved that aspect of it when I hunted with you before.
This was a cooler evening than the night before. A hard afternoon rain had cooled things down from the expected highs of 90s to low 80s, and the humidity hovered at 80%. The cooler weather promised better hunting. Osceola turkeys and sandhill cranes haunted the edges of the swamp, and there were gators in the ditches. Sweat trickled down Lewis's shoulder blades, and he imagined the pool of man scent around the blind, a living thing, a cloud of danger that drifted on the slight wind. The wind was wrong. A herd of wild boar had emerged from the swamp. Lewis saw them hold up and lift their snouts, testing the scent.
I think they smelled us when they were coming in. And they held up. It was just like they were starting to trot, and then boom, they stopped. And they began looking around. Oh, I think they're there. I think this wind is a little wrong for our setup, but I bet you they come out anyway. I don't know, I was pretty confident they were going to come back, but those weren't some very sophisticated pigs. I just think they caught the wind blowing from the blind over to them, and I think it was just too much for them because it's been 20 minutes now and they haven't showed themselves again. I mean, they were close. They were committed till they smelled me.
Lewis didn't want to do it. Almost everything in Lewis's screams, hunt in one good place, and this was it. But it was no good from the blind. This was the second evening, and Lewis's last chance to bag a wild boar on this trip to Florida. Tonight would be different, but only if Lewis climbed out of the blind and hunted on foot. "2 hours of light. 2 hours to turn nothing into something, an empty cooler into backyard barbecues and pork sandwiches and sausage. Because that's why we hunt wild boar in Florida. It's hard to find a better tasting pork than what runs wild on the hoof in Florida swamps."
It's starting to get the wind in my face now.
There was a corner of the property that was still untouched by the group.
I don't see anything there yet. I'm looking at that corner there. That's where I saw some pigs yesterday. We're gonna go toward that feeder.
Tall stands of pink pampas grass, and clumps of saw palmetto provided tall cover and ample places for feral swine to feed and bed. A black shape in the grass resolved to 60 pounds of wild, ambulatory pork. Safety snicked forward. Lewis held the black crosshair on the shoulder and broke a 3-pound trigger.
Right there. I was thinking one of them is going to turn broadside, and I'm going to shoot that one. And this one was about the same size as the others, and my crosshairs never came off of it. So yeah, I thought I hit it a little higher, but I hit it right where I wanted to. I'm going to keep hunting. The wind is full in my face, and I know there's 2 herds over there, and so I'm gonna work my way slow back through there and seeing if I can find them coming out right before dark, out into the flats and maybe out in that water like we saw them earlier.
There were 3 fingers of sunlight left. That's how Seminole judged daylight in these parts way back when.
There's pigs there. How we get to them though?
If it was good enough for them, it's good enough for Lewis. It was a race against time now, but Lewis could not move fast. There could be a hog anywhere.
I can't get a good shot from this angle. I thought I could. So I'm gonna have to try to get closer. That mud is gonna be noisy.
A huge sow with large starbuck's shoulders concealed a nice young boar. That was the one Lewis wanted. Broadside, the crosshair found a crease in his shoulder muscle, and the whorl of Lewis's fingerprint found the 3 pounds of tension in the trigger. The boar dropped like it was hit with a hammer. Like spokes from a wheel, little pigs and big pigs scattered in every direction.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Right on. I had to just wait until that sow turned away, but what happened was the boar turned away. He turned away and he started heading back this way, and I got a good, nice broadside shot and just took him.
Lewis dragged the sleek black boar out of the golden light and onto a log. Boar loin served up. The air is charged, a humid, motionless mass. Lightning is the occurrence of electrical discharge of high voltage between a cloud and the ground, or a cloud and another cloud.
Okay, black drum you can? Okay. I know. Around here. A couple weeks ago.
So I just keep my hand on there and then put my middle finger on it. And have you shot these a lot before?
I have not.
Okay, so
I got a pretty good idea, but
okay. When you're reeling it back in, just make sure you don't put too much pressure on the trigger, because if you do that, then your line's not going to come out, and when you're completely off of it, there's just unlimited slack. So you kind of have a happy medium when you're reeling it in. It's pretty simple. Some people like to squeeze down too hard, and some people just don't squeeze it at all. So you just have to be conscientious of that.
There are things you don't do, and one of those things is crawl around in an aluminum boat in the Indian River Lagoon when lightning is flashing all around you. But when the big booms are mostly too far away to hear, maybe you have a chance.
So what are the things I can't shoot?
Yes, sir. So the things that we're not going to be able to shoot are going to be things like game fish. Those are going to be fish such as tarpon, trout, redfish, and snook. Those are really popular in this area, so we will see a lot of them tonight.
Yeah. Have you ever eaten snook?
I have.
Oh,
one of my
man.
favorite fish.
That's one of the best tasting fish.
I know. So we're going to have to go ahead and find some shelter for about 45 minutes and stay out of the storm.
The forecast says run.
Yes.
I don't fish in lightning. I don't fish in rain either, unless I have to.
Getting struck by lightning in and around Orlando, one guy told us, is much easier than winning the lottery.
The wind changed direction on us, so we're going to be on the west side of the bank. This is a pretty good spot. We see a lot of black drum, sheep's head, flounder, stingrays, and things like that.
This is something I have never done before. And I like it because I used to be a lighting designer. And I see all this beautiful light right down where a guy wants it, right there on the water where we can see some fish.
We kind of have different fish in different areas. In this particular area, I see more sheep's head and black drum than anything else.
Those are little mullet, and they're reacting to the light and coming out of the water, and gives me a lot of hope because where there's these little fish, there's got to be the bigger fish that eat them. Oh, missed.
It's okay. We can try and turn around on him.
I thought I had him for sure. Okay, well, got my first shot off anyway. I can shoot at him, all right. This is really something else. I knew it was going to be fun. I am so excited to just be here and doing this.
See the sheep's head?
No, shoot it.
See him now? To the right?
That one?
Yep. There's another one right there too.
Yeah.
There you go. Get a shot at him. A little high. All right, now watch your feet. We're just gonna lay them on the deck.
What kind of array is this?
That's a Southern Atlantic stingray. Yes, sir.
That is so awesome. There you go. Thank you. All right.
One in the bucket.
When you said there was a ray there, I know what they look like, right?
Right.
And I know what their tail looks like, and I know what the rest of their body looks like. So the tail was what I could see.
Yes, sir.
And I had to tell my brain what the rest of it looked like, and then it could all resolve there, and then it was hard to miss that one. Is it shooter?
Yep. Hi.
I like the target. There's a more like the size of a dinner plate.
So Gary, this is kind of the area that I look for more of the stingrays and the black drum, and that's because right now we're on a flat, so it's about 1 foot of water on both sides. And what I really look for is not always just in the light, but I like to look outside of it and see if you can see fish V'ing on top of the water. A lot of times the black drum are big enough to where their backs almost touch the top of the water, so you can see the V going through there.
Okay.
So I really try and not only pay attention to the light, but also outside of the light as well.
Right, looks like there's a disturbance beyond.
Right. Just to the left.
Missed another sheep's head. Oh,
We ducked it.
Oh,
This one.
man.
I got him.
Well, that's a fighter.
Yeah, he is. Now the reason we were talking a little bit before about letting the black drum and things like that run, well the good thing about these stingrays is that most of the time our shots go all the way through them. So we can pretty much pull them back to the boat. So this is a butterfly ray. These actually do not have barbs on them.
Whoa. What'd you got a sheep's head?
Yes, sir.
Oh, so that's what they look like.
Yes, sir. Just like that.
How did I miss that big old pancake?
It happens. Did you guys like that double?
I like that double.
Just
I
pull
like
out
that
the
double.
Nice shot. Here, now we'll kind of do the same thing. I'll pull, you reel.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
He's giving us a bath. Normally, I mean, you get a window of a few seconds. Sometimes a little bit longer.
It's kind of like shooting a coyote. You got to be quick.
You want me to reel? You want to pull? All right.
Whoa.
Yeah, you feel the power of them. Just get them right on the deck and just lay them flat. Nice. Good shot.
Man. So what kind of ray is this?
This is a butterfly ray.
Wow, what a critter.
This is a sheep's head here. You can really spot them out just because of their stripes. Their black and white stripes are really definitive. They're often in rocks, any kind of wood or any kind of structure underwater because they like to eat the barnacles. And they're kind of, you know, they're a little bit difficult to pick out because these stripes blend in with the rocks and the sand and things like that. But if you really pay attention to the water, you can see them.
Well, that's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.